Let's have a free Durker and Vaughn. Free niggas though. I'd rather them dead than in jail.
Y'all good?
We straight.
All right, she said, okay. I just want to make sure. Man, how you motherfucker been? How you been? Hey, Get Right with you out there?
Can't get right.
We safe. Okay. Shout out Get Right, man.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now today, I got an exclusive one for y'all. Today, I got a close source, a very, very, very close source to this situation. That gave me some details, right? And to be honest, like I said, I purposely never covered this story because I didn't know the full details. And it was also a back and forth about who killed Get Right. Now there's three people who I'm not going to say the other two names because they're still alive and out of jail. If you know, you know, but I don't want to incriminate anybody. But one out of the three, in fact, includes King Von. Rest in peace. Now, being that I never really knew the ins and outs, I left this story alone purposely. But as of yesterday, I got the whole rundown on why, I'm going to say it, 051 Melly was, in fact, the killer behind Get Right's murder. Alright? Looking on YouTube and Reddit, everyone has their own stories in which some of them are conflicting and can be argued. But I got the scoop from a very, very, very reliable source who hung around the guys, right, themselves. And they were actually there for some of these events. Now, the source even explained that everyone in Chicago knows that 051 Melly really killed Get Right, but people just don't want to accept it or speak on it. It's a very touchy situation, being how close the whole, you know, the STLs, the Gyros, the 051, Tyquan world, all that at one point in time, you know, they had their little relation with each other, whatever the case may be. Now, they also explained and broke down the details on why he did it. Alright, and this is big to me because I noticed that most YouTube videos and blogs, they give you a bunch of reasons why he didn't do it, but none give you the details or explain on why he may have done it. And listen, y'all, I'm only bringing awareness to the situation and what's going on. If you feel you know something more credible or have a better version or whatever, instead of getting angry in the comments and blah, 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 you can simply email me and we'll take it from there. Just like this person did. Alright, now before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And I swear, it's lit here. Now join one of the latest games on YouTube so you can stay updated with some of the realest content. Now let's get straight into it. Oh yeah, matter of fact, listen, before we get into it, right, for those bloggers that keep posting the name Can't Get Right when you're referring to this man, I want you to know that you are actually insulting him. All right, when he was alive, he didn't like that name. It was offensive. His true guys that knew him called him either Get Right or Man, or they just said the phrase "Get Right with you." All right. Now, from what this close source has told me, the whole 051 Melly and Nate story, as we all knew it to be, is actually deeper than we may know. And shout out to those who know the truth out there, man, but don't want to get caught up in the streets or in fear for your life because you don't want anything happening to you. Because I understand. I always express, anybody who sends me stories or know the real truth, that when you guys contact me to air out your side, your identity will remain anonymous and you'll be able to get your side of the story out however you please. Now, I'm big on protecting your identity because I know how it can be, and also I'm sure that people who really know what's going on be frustrated that they can't tell their side of the story when they hear false stories online. Alright, you know, all the lies online or whatever the case may be. I know they be sitting back like, dang, I really want to say my piece, but I kind of don't want people knowing it's me. I don't want, you know, in jeopardy of your life, because real things happen. Alright, so in conclusion, if you ever have a story you want to get out there, or you hear a story on this platform that you think you have more insight on or about, don't be afraid to contact me via email, and I keep your identity 100% anonymous while sharing your story. Alright. Now, a lot of us assume that Nate killing Melly was simply over a dice game where Nate shorted Melly on some money and never paid. Melly told the guys around him to get the money from Nate, or else he's going to handle it the way he knows how, and when they didn't, he took matters into his own hands and shot up Nate's house that had his child and his child's mother inside. So in retaliation, when Melly showed up to the party for Get Right, full of STL, Gyro City, and Tyquan World members, the same party FBG Duck warned him not to go, without him. It appears that Nate seen him and did what he had to do, right? But knowing what I know now, it makes me question, right, why FBG Duck really told Melly not to go to that party. Alright, and you're gonna question it too. You're gonna see. I wonder, did he really know something but just never said anything because he had to also be loyal to the same people Melly had quarrels with as well? Because if y'all ain't know, Duck was the mediator when it came to Tyquan World and Melly and all them other gangs, and a few others. Off the strength of Duck, Melly hung around guys he drilled or affiliates of the guys that he drilled. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to say Duck was playing both sides, because technically he wasn't, but he was trying to keep it peaceful between two parties that he was cool with. And not to mention, it's been rumors flying around that Duck and 051 Melly was actually related somehow. And that would kind of make sense of the relationship that they kind of had with each other. Knowing that 051 Melly did what he did, Duck was still cool with him. So like I said, that kind of explains, some things when you go deep and you dive inside, man, it kind of makes sense. Now at this point, that's just like a rumor between a couple people, whatever the case may be, but I don't see it being too far-fetched. Alright. And as far as parties go, speaking of parties, a lot of people ask this question. They always say, if that was a celebration party for Get Right, why Duck told Melly not to go and why Duck didn't go himself, right? They always ask that question. Well, that's because Duck had threw his own celebration party for Get Right. And I want you to keep that in mind. Keep that fact right there in mind, because a close source told me that as well. But keep that fact in mind, because we're going to get back to that, and it's all going to make sense a little later. Now, y'all asking, what does any of this have to do with Get Right, right? Okay, so let's take it back. Y'all remember Moo Crump. Now, Moo Crump, aka the scorekeeper, Crump and Dirk and the whole OTF was once cool until they had a little fallout, and Crump decided to go at Dirk and OTF hard. Alright, now him and 051 Melly shared their dislike for Dirk and OTF and can be seen on live clowning Dirk, as well as sending threats and a couple of other things. Alright, as we know, the infamous night where Moo Crump was shot and killed outside of a house party in the 6800 block of South Morgan Street in Chicago's Inglewood neighborhood, we were only told a very, very basic part of the story. Alright, now this close source explained to me that what happened was, quote, everyone was on 63rd at a house party celebrated for a girl named Booby who was killed a few years prior. A lot of different hoods were there, including Geo Drive, 051, FBG, a whole bunch of people, right? Because before they all left to go to the party, they were all on 63rd just chilling. Now, it was already a little tension in the air because dudes was wondering what Crump was doing there, because don't forget that before he got into it with OTF, he was around them as well. Alright, so they're thinking just because he's into it with his set don't mean he's good to be kicking it over here with us still, because it's like, we don't know, maybe he just acting like, this is how dudes get the drop on each other, because you got dudes switching sides. So I'm pretty sure they was alert, right? But nothing really came out of that. It was just a little tension, whatever the case may be. Now, a couple hours go by, and of course in Chicago, usually if there's a big gathering or celebration somewhere, the ops is definitely somewhere close by, spinning the block or lurking, trying to catch someone lacking. So reports say that while Crump was standing outside, a car pulled up and just began shooting. Crump was shot twice in the torso and twice in the arm. Crump was taken to University of Chicago Hospital, where he was pronounced dead, and another victim who was nameless but is to believe 051 Melly, who was shot in his arm 5 times and was grazed in his head. Alright, now many believe that that was a hit targeting Mubu Crump, but if y'all look at the infamous picture that 051 Melly and Mubu Crump took before the shooting occurred, it proves that Crump was indeed standing somewhere close to 051 Melly, so maybe Melly was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, the close source tells me that yes, Melly actually went to go take a piss because everyone was getting ready to leave, right? And as Mubu Crump began walking to the car with someone, shots rang out from the car that came and passed by, whatever the case may be. And after Mubu Crump got hit, Melly ran out hollering and crying. Now, after the shooting happened, all kinds of stories went flying about who could be the possible shooters, but only one description stuck, and that was the one where witnesses described the shooter as a dyke with dreads from O Block or THF. Now, as the Chicago streets began talking, y'all know word always get around because someone always have to run their mouth. And with that being said, it came out that the shooters were in fact Nate and Get Right. Alright, that's what the close source told me. Now, some people tried to credit THF Zoo for the hit because he had fit the description, but the killing took place at the same time Nate had dreads as well. And in fact, the reason he cut his dreads off was because word started to travel that he had something to do with the killing. So in desperate attempts to save face, Nate got low for a little and even cut his dreads off. Now, of course, word traveled and word got back to Melly that it was Nate and Get Right involved with the killing. And being that Nate got low and Get Right was more accessible, because remember, Melly had ties with just about everybody, including FBG Duck and just all the gangs. And Get Right was pretty much Duck's enforcer, so he was around. Now, the close source also told me that a lot of people know 051 Melly did it, which is why a lot of the STL members in 051 wasn't cool after the Get Right killing happened. Now, my source also included guys such as FBG Dutchy saying he knows that 051 Melly did it. He knows what's really going on, but that's why he don't speak on it neither. And as a matter of fact, for even more proof that Melly had something to do with it, while Melly was on IG Live with Bezu, someone commented, they said this, they said, "Why did you kill Can't Get Right and that crackhead," right? And Bezu shrugged it off saying, quote, "We not doing that tonight." Alright, well, that crackhead they're referring to name is Troy Hampton, and if you've seen the video, he was just a bystander when the suspect ran up on Get Right and dudes he was with, and they just so happened to kill him right along with Get Right. Alright, he didn't even have nothing to do with it. And by the way, if you really look at the video, matter of fact, and you see the shooter, who do y'all think it looked like? Alright, let me know in the comments. Really look at it very closely, because a lot of people alleging that it wasn't Melly and it was just some ops that was riding around that store, because Get Right and Wooski and them were known to hang over there, and they just so happened to catch them. Oh, and actually that same day it's been reported that Wooski was there at that gas station as well, tweeting, but he just so happened to leave, but Get Right didn't leave. So maybe that's how they got the, you know, the low or whatever the case may be. But my question is this, right? For the people that say that it was just random ops going op shopping or op hunting or whatever the case may be, what makes you think that that op that just so happened to catch them lacking wasn't 051 Melly? Alright? So a lot of people say this. They say Man wasn't backdoored, and they right to an extent. He wasn't backdoored in the sense of a literal backdoor, but Melly definitely knew of their whereabouts, and in retaliation for Mubu Crump's murder, he caught Get Right lacking. That's a fact. Alright, and like I said, a very, very valuable source told me this information. I wish I could tell y'all who, but I can't. Alright, so now, fast forward to the infamous party. So this story would also make sense as well that I'm telling y'all, because a lot of people saying Melly was backdoored at that party for Man, when in actuality he wasn't. He just so happened to show up after Duck even warned him not to go without him, and with all the rumors going around that Melly was behind Get Right's murder, right? Tyquan World was there, STL, Gyro, all of them was there. So mind you, now that they all know that Melly actually had something to do with Get Right's murder, now is the perfect time. It's just that Tyquan World just decided to follow up on it and did something about it. Not to mention, you got to put everything into perspective now. The shooting up of Nate's crib, the fact that Melly was there at that party that night drunk, talking crazy as well, from what reports told us, acting cocky and arrogant, you know, showing his gun and all that. So it could have been a mixture of frustration and reasons why they just got tired of it, felt embarrassed, and then they did something about it to Melly finally. That's all that means. Because from what I gathered up before, Melly was actually around them before that as well. They didn't do nothing. There was a time I think Melly was around Nate before, and Nate didn't do nothing around that time. That's why he felt so comfortable to be around him again. Y'all gotta remember, he was very prideful. Melly had a big ego, and rightfully so. He was doing this thing in the streets, so a lot of people actually was scared of him. And like I said, the story I'm telling y'all sounds more believable, because just think of it. If someone you knew did something to your brother or cousin or friend or anybody, right? They show up to his exact celebration, and on top of that be disrespectful, what would you do? It's almost like you forced to do something. And there's a video out actually that showed Melly moments before being shot, showing off his weapon in the party, saying no one's going to do a thing to him. You know, he had a cup in his hand which symbolized that he was drinking. And you know, when we drink, man, we not in our right mind anyway. And I just wish he was more on point at that party as well, because I think him just being there, it just didn't make sense, period. With him being there, with him and his rivals being there, him knowing that he was very egotistical for that. And maybe the liquor has something to do with it. You don't know. Maybe he popped a perk, pill, something. Who knows? Alright. Now, that's pretty much it. But this is what I'm going to do, right? Because I've been searching online. I want to debunk a couple questions I read on Reddit about the reason 051 Melly didn't kill Get Right. Alright, and I'm gonna just debunk it real quick and put it in a very simple order. Now it says the first question says this. It says, why would Melly hang with FBG Duck STL after Get Right died? And to answer that question, I'm gonna just say Duck already answered that question himself in that interview. I gotta find that interview, but he answered it himself. Alright, now it says here, the second question, why would Melly be at a party on 62nd and Eberhard, which is Tyquan World Block, if he killed Get Right? And once again, that's an easy response. His ego. Melly felt untouchable. That's all that is. Then the third question was this. It said, why would Melly be at a Get Right birthday party full of STL, Gyro City, and Tyquan World members who are close with Get Right on 62nd and Eberhard if he killed Get Right? And once again, I just have his ego to blame. Nothing else, just his ego. He did a lot of things that didn't make sense that me and you probably wouldn't do. That was just the first time that he actually had to pay for his actions. But Melly did a lot of brazen things, a lot of ballsy things, such as this in the past that he got away with. That's why he felt so comfortable doing it over and over again. Now for the last question, he says, why would Cash STL honor Melly if he killed Get Right? And to be honest with you, that's a good question. But I would say this, the same reason Duck still hung with him after the whole Get Right situation. Alright? Because Melly did some messed up things, but let's keep it real. Killers respect killers. And Melly was very, very well respected because he was everything he said he was when it came to the streets. Alright? No matter of fact, the last thing he said this, he said, y'all believe Swiper EBT when he said it was Melly, but doesn't believe Lil P STL when he said that his killer don't come outside them gates. I don't really know. Then he said, if y'all really think Melly killed Can't Get Right, y'all dumb as F. And like I said, man, this story came to me from a very, 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 very valuable source. That's the only reason why I'm speaking on it. And I'm assuming everybody that know the truth Know that I'm not lying because of the source or whatever the case may be. So, and like I said, to simply answer those questions, I got a question that'll put all those questions to rest, right? If Melly wasn't the killer, why would he get killed at a can't get right party if he didn't kill him? A get right party, my fault. Alright, why would he? Out of everybody, why would he? Now I know all the other rumors that was floating around about the shooting of the house, you know, and all that, but nah. One thing y'all gotta remember is this, man. Melly felt untouchable, like his ego was through the roof. He borderline felt like no one can touch him due to his previous incidents and how much his name was actually buzzing. And let's not forget that people were in fact scared of him. Alright? And let's also not forget this, right? That wouldn't be the first time that people knew Melly did whatever he did to their friends and still hung around him, bro. It's already been known that he was the killer in Ambrio's death, and he still went to that party as well that they had for whatever the case may be. He also killed one of Duck's closest friends, Get Right, like I said, and he still hung around Duck too. And believe it or not, the same ego and bravery that people are saying got him killed is also the same reasons people respected Melly. So it kind of went both ways. And Duck was asked in one of these interviews, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much why he hang around Melly if he knew he killed his cousin, I think, or something like that. And Duck's point of view was that, yo, listen, his cousin killed one of Melly folks, not his cousin, or Get Right, whatever, or, you know, whoever he was referring to, killed one of Melly folks, and they were ops. So in retaliation, Melly had to do what he had to do. That's just how the streets go, and you can't fault him for that. To be perfectly honest, if you ask me, I think that's the best way to sum it up, and he kept it real. Duck definitely kept it real for that, man. So like I said, in conclusion to all this, a lot of people didn't know why Nate killed Melly and why Melly killed Can't Get Right. So in conclusion to it all, Get Right and Nate ended up killing Moo Crump in retaliation. Your boy 051 Melly killed Get Right, and in retaliation for that, Nate killed 051 Melly at the party. Alright, now y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. I know it's gonna be a whole bunch of people saying, no, you're wrong, you're blah blah. Whatever it is, we can go back and forth about it in the comment box below. If you have any insight about any of this, feel free to email me. Feel free to let us know how you feel about it in the comments, whatever the case may be, man. I'm just here to bring awareness to certain things. Shout out to that close source that gave me all this information. You definitely was a big help, and yeah. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm gonna keep on dropping, and I'm out.